Elden Lords, rejoice! Just because you've conquered the lands between doesn't mean you should hang up your armor, because we've got the best games like Elden Ring to play in 2022. So, Elden Ring was pretty good, wasn't it? Whether you managed to become Elden Lord in less than 100 hours, or you're currently working on New Game plus so you can see all the endings for yourself, it's hard to leave the Tarnished life behind. The games we're looking at today, however, will help make that smooth transition from playing Elden Ring so much you keep trying to bloodhound step in real life, to stepping into something new. Before we get into the games, however, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and for the maidenless of you, hit that notification bell so you're always reminded when a new video drops. Now, let's get into it.
Dear sister, you're finally here.
Right, let's get the Souls-like checklist out, shall we? Dark, gothic setting? Check. Punishing combat that'll either make you feel unstoppable or like lobbing your monitor out the window? Check. Creepy, hooded protagonist? Check. We've got to hand it to Thymesia, the Soulsborne vibes are strong with this one. In this grueling RPG, you'll be playing with the plague, which explains the mask, and using weapons imbued with the disease you've harnessed from enemies. Sounds, well, a bit gross to be honest, which is another checkbox on our list, funnily enough. This hack-and-slash adventure looks like it will remind us of everything we loved and hated about Elden Ring when it releases later this year. It's always a good sign when Steam asks you to input your birthday to check if you're old enough to witness the horrors a game has to offer. And with Nioh 2, we're still not convinced we don't need our mum's permission, because in this brutal and thrilling action RPG, you'll be mastering the combat and taking on bosses that should have stayed in our nightmares where they belong. Like Elden Ring, you'll get a chance to customize your character, so you know they'll have a nice haircut before they're promptly pummeled into the ground by a boss you're not quite sure you'll ever be ready for. But hey, you probably had a moment when you weren't sure you were cut out for Elden Ring 2, and you're still here. That's gotta count for something, right? Right? Okay, we know what you're thinking. It's a bit of an obvious choice, but sometimes the obvious choices are still worth mentioning, because if you finished Elden Ring and want something exactly like it makes sense to opt for a game made by the same developer that undoubtedly inspired the entire Soulsborne genre. Plus, if you basically played Elden Ring like a co-op game, regularly calling in friends to help you fight your way through the lands between, you can do it all over again with Dark Souls. Your friends shouldn't need much convincing. And if they do, tell them we said you're an excellent friend with great taste in games, and the least they can do is play another Soulsborne with you. Right, glad we got that one straight. On to the next one. You might be looking at this next entry and thinking, why? There's no chainmail, no swords, no castles, there's not even a horned steed that I can whistle and ride off into the sunset with. And to that we say, yeah, fair enough. But hear us out before you go looking in the description for the next timestamp, okay? If you're looking for gameplay mechanics and combat that feels like the fast, tactical fighting of Elden Ring, but you're not married to the fantasy setting, Jedi Fallen Order is an excellent choice. You play as Cal Kestis and will train him up from a Padawan to Chosen One, and if we're being honest, probably die a lot in the process. So don't say we didn't warn you. This next entry isn't so much a Souls-like as it is a long-lost brother of the Soulsborne genre. In fact, if you step a little bit further away from your screen and then squint a bit, there you go, looks just like Elden Ring now, doesn't it? Mortal Shell is, you guessed it, an action RPG where you'll be honing your combat skills, exploring its twisted world, and taking on the bodies of fallen warriors to help you learn new combat techniques. Yeah, that last one's new to us too. Mortal Shell is a dark and punishing fantasy with an extra layer of sheen, and if you don't believe us, just look at the gloss on that armour. You can almost see your face in it, although admiring your reflection might be the last thing you want to do when this guy's around. Yikes. Whether you've been a fan of the Monster Hunter franchise for so long your feline's fur is starting to go grey, or you've never joined the hunt, Monster Hunter Rise is a great place to start. You'll be hunting down and taking on folkloric monsters inspired by Japanese legends, with a huge arsenal of weaponry at your side. It's got the frantic combat of Soulsborne's, but with the added cuteness factor, as you ride palamutes around this co-op RPG world. And it's safe to say in the latest iteration, the Monster Hunter franchise has never looked better. If you want fast-paced action against a gorgeous backdrop, then this is going to be your new favourite game. Elden Ring who? Okay, we'll be honest, this could be a list about the best games like Power Wash Simulator, and we'd still put The Witcher 3 on the list because we love it that much. But in this case, there are clear similarities between the worlds of Elden Ring and The Witcher 3. In the continent, Geralt is an outcast, maligned by all he comes across and avoided by everyone but those who have no choice but to ask for his help. With his silver sword in hand, he takes on all manner of monsters, from werewolves to Leshens. And although our Tarnished warrior doesn't speak, you'll probably find that Geralt doesn't have much more to say than them, preferring to limit his syllables where possible. If you're looking for something as dark and twisted as Elden Ring, with demanding combat that takes time to master, then this one is for you. If you want a challenge akin to Elden Ring, try playing on Death March difficulty too. Just don't blame us when that happens.
Stop talking, got a griffin to kill.
This next entry gives a new meaning to the term Souls-like, as you play a crow whose day job is to reap the souls of the dead, and when a soul is stolen, you have to find the thief responsible. This is a wonderfully original isometric RPG, where you'll be hacking and slashing your way through levels, wielding everything from melee weapons to magic as you explore a realm untouched by death. If you're in the mood for something beautiful and bleak after battling your way from Limgrave to Lanedale, you might want to practice your core and consider making Death's Door your next action adventure. And finally, if you can wait until fall 2022, and let's be honest, you're going to want to, you'll be able to step into the dark world of Soulstice. As feral creatures from beyond the veil slip into the holy kingdom of Cadus and possess the bodies of their victims, you get to play as badass sisters Briar and Lute, and use Briar's superhuman strength and Lute's, well, ghostness, to restore balance and give those wraiths a piece of their mind. It shot right to the top of our Steam wishlists the moment we saw our protagonists, who were voiced by Stephanie Houston from Metal Gear Solid 5, by the way, and we can't wait to uncover the mysteries of Soulstice. And that concludes our list of games like Elden Ring. Which game will you be diving into first? And more importantly, how many hours did you rack up becoming Elden Lord? Let us know in the comments and drop us a like if you enjoyed the video. For more lists just like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're the first to know when another video drops.